Shalom Makim Wagwaf, first and foremost, Kohaloyim, Wakabad, like Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Arachakwadash, Shabbat Shalom. Double honors to the elder apostles of the great millstone who rule well. Peace, blessings, and salutations to all the fellow laborers of the hopeful elect tabernacle of David scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. They talk about accelerating birth pains, the travail, the year of the Lord turning up. And as we saw for the first half of the year, things did get turned up. All right, especially with the escalation of, tension and conflict between Russia and the West over Ukraine, and since then began to boil over, and now NATO got their troops increased over there. America sent troops over there. It's a big proxy that's getting ready to turn into the final world's war. All right. Um, so much is going on. Inflation is out of control. Uh, a lot of certain countries, developing countries that are facing economic turmoil, with the reduced supply of energy, wheat, crops, all right, due to the Russia-Ukrainian situation and them shutting down exports, the supply chain being totally eradicated, which is going to affect, the food supply, which is going to cause food insecurity, which is going to lead to riots. All right, you're already seeing over in not Ukraine, in the Netherlands, the people over there, they setting it off, and they even got uh, forces actually, shooting at protesters. So it's getting chaotic worldwide, and if your eyes are open, you can see it. Mainly, we're in a time of prophecy, and that's what we're supposed to be focused on. The scriptures say to be watchful. All right. And what are we watching for? We're watching for the signs, the tokens, the prophecies. Have Cook said, I will stand upon my watch. All right. And the vision was yet for an appointed time, but at the end, it shall speak, and it is speaking. And also in Ezekiel, the 12th chapter, I like to go into this one. Let's go to Ezekiel, the 12th chapter. The Lord is no longer prolonging his word. Let's go to Ezekiel 12. Hold up. It is Ezekiel 12 and starting at 22. Matter of fact, let me get the NLT translation. And it says, Son of man, you've heard that proverb they quote in Israel, time passes and prophecies come to nothing. To the people, this is what the sovereign Lord says, which his name is Yahweh. I will put an end to this proverb, and you will soon stop quoting it. Now give them this new proverb to replace the old one. The time has come for every prophecy to be fulfilled. There will be no more false visions and flattering predictions in Israel. For I am the Lord. If I say it, it will happen. There will be no more delays, you rebels of Israel. All right, so now is the time to, get your mind right and prepare. And we've been saying it, for a while. Our elder apostles, 30 plus years out there giving the warning, brothers that came in after, all right, when there was no fruit. And now we're seeing major things happen. That's because the prophets are out there speaking, thus saith the Lord, and now they're coming to pass. It says, I will fulfill my threat of destruction in your own lifetime. All right, you're going to see these things in your lifetime. You're going to be a part of it. Even Ezra understood that. That's why he said in the vision, when he had the vision, he said, woe is me, who would deliver me in those days? He believed that he would be back in that time to face, what he saw. It says, I, the sovereign Lord, have spoken. All right. Matter of fact, I'll finish this off and then we'll get right into it. It says, then this message came to me from the Lord, Son of Man, the people of Israel, saying, he's talking about the distant future. His visions won't come true for a long, long time. There's people that want to put off the day of the Lord so that they can follow after their own lust and desire, thinking that they got a bright future ahead. You're blinded if you think there's a bright future ahead for you. In a failing society, in a collapsing empire, you're out your mind. Can't you see what the hell is going on? And Jake, just paying attention to how Jake is moving, their conversation, the pride, they don't see nothing. And that's why it's going to catch their dumb asses like a thief in the night. And they can't say they was never given the warning. It says, therefore, tell them this is what the sovereign Lord says. No more delay. I will now do everything I have threatened. I, the sovereign Lord, have spoken. All right. And he's gonna do it. All right. The Lord's word is bond. So we're gonna get to the prophecy. We're gonna go to Second Ezra 16, and I got it in the Bible Gateway, and I want to read it in the RSB translation. All right, but before we get into that, let's get into this article. This is from the mostimportantnews.com. 5 major trends to watch for during the second half of 2022, year of the Lord turning up. It says, can you believe that it is the second half of 2022 already? Yeah, shit is flying, right? It says, I don't know about you, but to me it seems like time goes by faster with each passing year. And the Lord said that he would make the days faster. Let's get that in Matthew 24. And if the Lord didn't do it, we probably all die off. If we had to spend another decade, another 20, 30, 40, 50 years here, we'd all probably die off. Because this devil's destroying the planet Earth as as is written. The haughty people of the earth do languish. All right. And the earth is languishing and dying off. All right. It's defiled of the inhabitants thereof because they have transgressed the laws, changed the everlasting, changed the ordinances, broken the everlasting covenant. So everything is suffering, man, from the animals, the fowl in the air, us, we're all sickly, all type of infirmities. You know, the lifespan is decreasing. It's heavy sterility and infertility. Everything is just out of course, man. So we would not be able to live, if the Lord didn't shorten these days and speed these days up. Our food supplies weaponized and poisoned and all type of abomination. Our GMOs is just we're in a worst case scenario, man. So this is Matthew 24, and all right, let me go to the KJV real quick. Yeah, Matthew 24 and starting at 21, it says, for then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, no, nor ever shall be. And we're coming into that. All right, we're like really right at the brink of it, right on the doorstep, entering into this time of trouble, great pressure. All right, where things are going to be um, disastrous. It's going to be very uncomfortable. It's going to be just nonstop calamity, tragedy, crisis after crisis, which is all coming from the Most High, the Lord, because He's sick and tired of the world. This is all the punishment that He's bringing to the world because of their iniquity. All right, it says, and except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved, but for the Lord, the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened. So that's why time is flying. That's why these days are getting shorter. So things are speeding up. All right. It also says in the Apocrypha to sake the time, because we're hastening the coming of the day of the Lord, man, because we sick and tired of this shit. Sick and tired of the wicked growing bolder and bolder, waxing proud. All right, our women getting more and more bold and proud and out of order. So it's time for all this to end. Let's go to I believe it's in Sirach 36, if I'm not mistaken. It's Sirach 36 and yep, Sirach 36 verse 8. It says, "Sake the time short, remember the covenant, and let them declare thy wonderful works." All right, and we're in that time, man. And the Lord's gonna start doing miraculous things. He's gonna basically show His right hand. Okay, we've seen all these different wonders in the heavens. The past couple months with these eclipses and the planets aligning themselves and all type of chariot sightings. Like and we're seeing chariots literally like every camp. Every time we go to camp, a chariot is up there or a couple of them. So we know we're definitely in that time. All right. So anyway, going back into the article, it says perhaps that that is just because I'm getting older. In any event, the first 6 months of 2022 are already in the tank. During those 6 months, the largest land war in Europe since World War II has erupted. Inflation has spiraled out of control all over the world. We have plunged into the worst energy crisis since the 1970s. A horrifying bird flu pandemic has killed tens of millions of turkeys and chickens in the US, which I believe that they're actually just killing them off. But this is, uh, this is, I guess the blame, they can use this to blame it, but I believe that they're just killing everything off because they're engineering this famine. Okay. And that's part of this devil coming down with great wrath. See, yeah, the Lord is accelerating the plagues, but He's also accelerating the wrath of this devil coming down because He know that His time is short, like it says in Revelation 12 verse 12. All right, so a lot of this is His doing. He wants to starve these people out, and that'll get them in a desperate zone, so that when this devil finally establishes New World Order, Great Reset, the people will be ready and willing. All right, and it's going to come down to you bound down and worshiping His image, which is to be a part of this system and to accept the New World Order and the new way of living. And also, you're gonna have to get that MOTV, and that right there is going to be the major test of all of our faith. And I did a lesson on that last night. So it's all coming, man. It says the worst monkeypox outbreak in history has begun. The S&P 500 had the worst start to a year since 1970, and global leaders have been relentlessly warning us that we are heading into an unprecedented planetary food crisis. Because they've been warning you because they've been planning it. That's why. Going back to the secret councils of the wicked, the insurrection of the workers of iniquity. All right. Unfortunately, I expect the second half of 2022 to be even worse. And it is going to get worse. As with time, things are going to get worse. All right, that's why the Lord likened these times into um, labor pains. You know, a woman in travail, a woman going through labor pains, the pains increase with time. She starts going through the contractions. The closer the baby gets to being delivered out of the womb, the more the pain grows. Well, that's what it is with these times that we're living in. All right, more hardship, more distress, crisis after crisis, plague after plague. It says, recently I have been finding myself using the word accelerate a lot in my discussions with other people. Global events have certainly accelerated during the first half of this year, and I am convinced that they will accelerate even more during the second half. Yeah, and basically talking about the increase of sorrows. All right, and let's go to Second Ezra 16. Let me see. It's Second Ezra 16 and starting at 14. And this is in the RSV version. It says, "Behold, calamities are sent forth and shall not return until they come over the earth. The fire is kindled and shall not be put out until it consumes the foundations of the earth." Just and basically, that's why everything is being broken down systematically worldwide. All right, this is the Lord kindling that fire, and He's using the elites to do so. All right, sending all type of strange weather, whether He's allowing His devil to use the weather modification technology or whether it's coming from the Lord. I mean, which really it is coming from the Lord, even if it's through that technology. But you see how it's destroying the global food supply. So ultimately, it's the Lord's doing. It says, just as an arrow shot by a mighty archer does not return, so the calamities that are sent upon the earth shall not return. Alas for me, meaning woe for me, woe is me. Who will deliver me in those days? And it says, the beginning of sorrows, when there shall be much lamentation, the beginning of famine, and many shall perish, the beginning of wars, when people shall be terrified, and we're coming into that. All right, Russia, Ukraine, NATO getting involved, and then you got Israel. They just attacked, I think, a Iranian base recently, and Russia have been telling Israel to stop striking Syria. So there's going to be escalation in the wars between those countries over there in the Middle East, which is going to lead to the War of Armageddon. You see, everybody putting their pieces in place on the war stage, on the chessboard. All right, G7 countries and had their little meeting about what they're gonna do about Russia, and then Russia, you know, which was been leading the charge in the BRICS nations, that alliance. They just recently had a meeting, and since then you had Argentina, Iran. They put in the application to join BRICS. All right, they working on a alternative currency to combat the petrodollar, in which their currency is going to have a basket of commodity. It's going to have worth value, so it's going to motivate these other countries to join in. They'll finally have something to trade with that's of value. So they're going to hop on the bandwagon. So everybody's going to be forced to pick a side before this war kicks off. Russia gathering the BRICS, and then you already got the beast NATO, the EU, and Babylon. All right, and then also one of the latest reports right now is that China, um, I believe it was China, Russia, and Iran. They're running war drills in Latin America, and they're gearing up to run a series of major war drills over in the Latin American countries to show force, meant to signal how their militaries can reach to to the U.S. So yeah, we're definitely in the beginning of it, man. All right, so it says the beginning of wars, when the power shall be terrified, the beginning of calamities, when all shall tremble. What shall I do in these circumstances when the calamities come? All right, and that's where we're heading. So going back here, we're going to see the acceleration of things that happen. All right, and it says, let me give you a few areas that I will be focused on in the months ahead. The following are 5 trends to watch for during the second half of 2022. Number one, economic shaking, which we all know it's all by design to bring in or usher in the new global digital slave control system, which the MOTB is going to be based on. It says, obviously, things have not gone well economically during the first half of this year. Inflation is raging all over the globe, and economic activity is slowing down everywhere that you look. The people cutting costs. People are not buying certain things anymore because they can't really afford it. People have to change their priorities. Certain restaurants and food chains are being forced to shut down. Certain malls. You see what it is, man. It says based on the latest reading from the Atlanta Fed's GDP now model, it appears that the U.S. economy has already plunged into a recession. I expect the U.S. economy to continue to deteriorate as we move toward the end of 22. But I am actually far more concerned about economic conditions in Europe. All right, or even right now in Germany, it was supposed to be a strong economy, but they're catching it by the fact that the uh, the oil is no longer being uh, imported into their country. Their energy industry is suffering, and that could mean catastrophe for your economy. All right, so Germany is one of the countries that's suffering from it, even though they have a strong uh economy. Um, it says the war in Ukraine has hit European economies really hard, and now many of them are potentially facing very serious shortage of natural gas this winter. The EUR USD is rapidly approaching parity, and this is something that I've been anticipating for years. Once the EUR USD uh, drops below parity, I think that the dominoes in Europe are going to start falling fairly rapidly. Meanwhile, I expect inflation rates to remain elevated all over the planet, and this is going to continue to cause tremendous problems. Well, woe to the world and them that dwell therein. Okay, so the Lord is doing it, and we're gonna come back to this in the 16th chapter. Let's go to the 15th chapter. In Second Ezra 15, and I'll start from the top and just read down. It says, "The Lord says, Behold, speak in the ears of my people the words of the prophecy which I will put in your mouth, and cause them to be written on paper, for they are trustworthy and true, or faithful and true. Do not fear the plots against you, and do not be troubled by the unbelief of those who oppose you." All right, because faith will be barren in these last days. A lot of people believe that the Bible is full of fairy tales, but yet we're reading what was written way before our time, and now it's happening. So, you know, these people can be delusional if they want. The Lord got them blinded for a reason. It says, "For every unbeliever shall die in his unbelief." Behold, says the Lord, I will bring evils upon the world, the sword and famine and death and destruction. For iniquity has spread throughout every land, and their harmful deeds have reached their limit. Iniquity has increased, man. Therefore, saith the Lord, I will be silent no longer concerning their ungodly deeds which they impiously commit, neither will I tolerate their wicked practices. All right. Uh, Abortion, homosexuality, that whole, all of that, the sexual activities of that whole alphabet mafia lifestyle. Okay. Child sacrifice. These are rituals. All right. The witchcrafts that goes on, the enchantments, all the blasphemies, our people be doing and saying, behold, innocent and righteous blood cries out to me, and the souls of the righteous cry out continually. I will surely avenge them, says the Lord. I will receive to myself all innocent blood from among them. All right. And that's the men of the Lord, the elect, sighing and crying. Behold, my people is led like a flock to the slaughter. I will not allow them to suffer. I will not allow them to live any longer in the land of Egypt, in which we're in modern Egypt, which is Babylon, spiritually called Sodom and Egypt. But I will bring them out with a mighty hand and with an uplifted arm, and will smite Egypt with plagues as before, and will destroy all its land. All right. So anyway, you already know the rest of the chapter, what it goes into. It goes into tribulation, sedition, uprisings. All right, people entering into homes, because that's another thing. When unrest happens and people get restless because of all these uh, growing calamities, crime is going to continue to increase. It's already deadly now. You can't go nowhere without it getting shot up or somebody getting stabbed up or pedestrians getting ran over. All right, it's gonna continue to accelerate as well, man. Burglaries are gonna accelerate. Suicides are gonna accelerate. Grand theft auto is gonna continue to accelerate. Homicides, domestic, uh, uh, violent disputes are gonna continue to accelerate because these people are gonna be in distress, man. They're in those pains. All right, so he mentioned the economy going through it, getting shaken up globally. And then number two, widespread famines. All right. With the ongoing crisis of them not exporting um the food supply, they shutting down the uh supply chains, paying off these farmers, telling them to basically stop production, burning down all these various food manufacturing plants and warehouses. This is all being set up, man. So it's definitely going to have a widespread famine. Just the head of the UN has publicly warned us that we are moving into an unprecedented global hunger crisis, and people are already starting to drop dead from starvation in some parts of Eastern Africa. Sadly, I believe this is just the tip of the iceberg. Even before the war in Ukraine started, we already headed into a major food crisis thanks to the soaring price of fertilizer and extremely bizarre global weather patterns. Now, the war in Ukraine has reduced the flow of agricultural exports from one of the key bread baskets in the world to just a trickle. At the same time, food production is going to come in well below expectations all over the planet due to a variety of factors that I have been documenting on my websites. Food prices have already risen very aggressively, but the biggest problem will be the food that is not grown in months ahead. These people don't see it now, but they're gonna feel it later. All right. See, we're seeing it. That's why the scriptures say, "A prudent man foreseeth the evil and hideth himself, but the simple pass on and are punished." That's why you gotta be paying attention and keep your eyes open, because at least we're preparing for what's to come. All right. Since there simply is not going to be enough food for everyone, that is going to cause enormous societal stress all over the globe in late 2022 and beyond. Lord willing, man. All right, this thing is going to speed up. All right, and You know, our people that's proud now, they're going to forget about it in a months to come. They're going to be in a world of shit. Okay. And then the war part, you know, I ain't even got to go into it. I kind of already mentioned everything that's going on. All right, we're on the brink of World War III. Okay. And they're talking about, you know, this thing turning nuclear. You know, what should you do if there's to be a nuclear war to break out? And, you know, we already know because the prophecy said it would happen. Okay. The second woe pass, the third woe coming quickly. And the nations are all being prepared for war, pursuant to Joel 3 and 9. Prepare war. Let all the mighty men wake up. All right. And the Lord is you know, he's mustering the host of the battle because he's gonna line you nations up and have all your armies gathered over there so y'all can fight, only for the Lord to come down. He's gonna come to the party and destroy all of your armies, and he's gonna basically take the crown. Because you nations are not next in line to rule. All right, the Israelites got next to rule. So, you know, I think I'm a you know, just for the time's sake, you know, I'll leave the rest of this you know, I'll leave the link to this in the description box so y'all can read the rest of it. You know, gets into the pestilence. That's, you know, another one, and I'll put up a video covering that. All these different diseases and outbreaks just appearing out of nowhere. You got you know, all type of snails invading in Florida, big ass snails. You got they call them Mormon crickets invading the West. So yeah, man, pestilences, plagues, diseases, you know, the monkeypox, you name it, man. Listeria outbreak. So we're here, man. Okay. And then before I even end it, because we're gonna go back to Second Ezra 16, and we're gonna read out because we gotta prepare, man. I mean, which really you should have been preparing, especially when you come into the knowledge of this truth, and also be comforted because the Lord's gonna protect His chosen. We're gonna be all right. The calamity is for the wicked. They're gonna suffer, man. Read Isaiah 65 and 13 on down for comfort. But let me read this. I mean, not reslack you. Let me play this so y'all can see how real it's finna get. So have your little city, your little city girl summer, or where you can still, you know, go to the club and to these events and to these bars and get all the attention and you know, get your hair done and your nails done. But many days and years shall you be troubled. You careless women. I'm talking about y'all, not the sisters, but you careless women out there. It's finna get ugly. So let's listen to this.
Mandar esto a todas partes del mundo. Diesel fuel and diesel engine oil is supposed to run out soon. El combustible tanto de diésel como otro tipo de hidrocarburos también se ve afectado. Heavy petroleum comes from Russia. Porque hay una buena parte del flujo petrolero que viene de Rusia. That is required for diesel. Y este se requiere para el diésel. In the next 2 months, a shortage is expected in many Western countries. Así que se espera que en los próximos 2 meses va a haber una reducción importante, una escasez importante de diésel en los países occidentales. We needed to change the engine oil on our airplane in the United States. Nosotros necesitamos cambiar ese motor de aceite en nuestra avioneta en los Estados Unidos. And we couldn't find any. Y no podíamos encontrarlo. We finally had to order from the other side of the United States, and we found just enough for one engine. Y de hecho, nosotros tuvimos que poner nuestra orden del otro lado de los Estados Unidos y solamente encontramos suficiente para una avioneta. Un motor. Un motor. Food shortages are being planned. También se están planeando escasez de alimentos. The food supply has been destroyed. Y la oferta de alimentos es algo que está siendo destruido. They have destroyed and plowed up all the food in the farms. Han destruido cualquier cantidad de granjas los alimentos que producen. And more than 100 food processing plants in the United States have been burnt up. Y más de 100 plantas procesadoras de alimentos en los Estados Unidos han sido quemadas. Mr. Bergoglio from Rome, y el señor Bergoglio de Roma, has announced that World War III has already started. Anunció que ya la Tercera Guerra Mundial ha comenzado. Will God allow?
So yeah, it's getting real. All right, you heard it. Diesel fuel, that's bad for the trucking industry. Okay, gas running out, oil. Yeah. So let's go into the prophecy and we're gonna end it. Let's go to 16. And that's what's gonna help accelerate, all right, the calamities. All right, second Ezra 16, and I already read uh verses 18 down to 8 yeah, I read the whole 18th verse. And it says here, 19, it says, Behold, famine and plague, tribulation and anguish are sent as scourges for the correction of men. As to get our people right. But like even the Lord said during the time of Jeremiah, why should you be stricken anymore? For you revolt more and more. So the Lord just gonna bring the punishment up to the 2/3 of our people, man. That's why it's known as the time of Jacob's trouble. All right. And they need it. Because they're the worst, they're at the worst state that they've ever been. All right. Since we became a nation, man. Jake is totally just they're very degenerated right now, man. Very low. It says, Yet for all this they shall not turn from their iniquities, nor be always mindful of the scourges. All right. Um, yeah, behold, provision will be so cheap upon earth that men will imagine that peace is assured for them. And these days are no longer there. It ain't cheap now. All right. Now we're dealing with shrinkflation. And the prices are increasing because the value of the dollar is decreasing. All right, but yeah, y'all wanted Biden in there, y'all get what y'all get. All right, it says, and then the calamity shall spring up on the earth, the sword, famine, and great confusion. For many of those who live on the earth shall perish by famine, starvation, and those who survive the famine shall die by the sword. Now, whether it be in those wars, all right, race wars, if civil war can pop off any day in the country because people disagree with the government, sedition is what's going to happen, man. When the war finally breaks out, when they finally officially declare World War III, it's going to be a big draft, and a lot of men is going to get drafted over there, and they're going to die by the sword in the war. It's going to cause a shortage of men, and a lot of women are going to be asked out, mourning because they have no bridegroom, they have no protection, they have no head, and they're gonna be prey out here. It says, and the dead shall be cast out like dung, and there shall be no one to console them, for the earth shall be left desolate, and its cities shall be demolished. Let's go down to let's start at verse 35. It says, God's people must prepare for the end. Listen now to these things and understand them, O servants of the Lord. Behold, the word of the Lord, receive it. Do not disbelieve what the Lord says. Behold, the calamities draw near and are not delayed, just as a woman with child in the 9th month, when the time of her delivery draws near, has great pains about her womb for 2 or 3 hours beforehand, and when the child comes forth from the womb, there will not be a moment's delay. So the calamities will not delay in coming forth upon the earth, and the world will groan, and pains will seize it on every side. And the world is they're groaning. When the righteous are on authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked bear up rule, the people mourn. They groan. The people that are in power, which are the elite. Okay, and you seeing what's happening. So, you know, now that we know that these things are coming, you know, what is our mindset supposed to be? How are we supposed to move? Be completely detached from all this, knowing that this is all getting ready to go. Verse 40, hear my words, O my people. Prepare for battle. Get you ready to the battle. And in the midst of the calamities, be like strangers, pilgrims on the earth. Let him that sells be like one who will flee. Let him that buy be like one who will lose. Let him that does business be like one who will not make a profit. And let him that build a house be like one who will not live in it. All right, don't be like Lot's wife. She had things invested there, and she felt she was gonna miss out on everything because she was living in pleasure, and she looked back, so she wasn't worthy to make it out of there. It says, let him that sow be like one who will not reap, so also him that prunes the vines like one who will not gather the grapes. Them that marry like those who will have no children, and them that do not marry like those who are widowed. All right. So it's, yeah, man. This is what it's gonna be. Okay. So anyway, I'm gonna end it right there. All right, and I'm gonna leave a link to this in the description box. But Lord willing, y'all were edified. Hey, these times are coming, man. Things are gonna get crazy. But hey, watch under prayer, man, and keep the faith. Okay. So with that, I'm gonna give all praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh Shem Shai. Double honors to the elder apostles of the great millstone. Peace, blessings, and salutation to the elect. Until I say, until then, Shabbat Shalom.